the 5 mind-blowing secrets to reprogram your mind for wealth. What if I told you that your bank account is not controlled by the economy, but by your subconscious mind? That deep inside you, there's a hidden code, an invisible operating system, quietly deciding how much money you earn, how much success you attract, and how far you'll ever go in life. Sounds unbelievable? Then let me prove it. Because the truth is, you've been programmed. Programmed by society, by family, by fear, to think a certain way about money, to believe that wealth is for others, to repeat financial patterns that don't belong to you. But right now, in this exact moment, you can rewrite that code. The richest people in the world, from Elon Musk to Oprah Winfrey to Jim Carrey, all did one thing before building their empires. They reprogrammed the way they think. They didn't wait for money to show up. They became the person who attracts it. And today, I'm going to reveal 10 mind-blowing secrets that will help you do the same. Not motivational fluff, real mental rewiring. The kind of shift that flips a switch in your brain and changes how reality responds to you. So, if you've ever felt stuck, like you're meant for something bigger, stay with me. Because once you understand how to reprogram your mind for wealth, nothing in your life will ever be the same again. Let's dive in. Topic 1. The hidden code of the subconscious mind. Have you ever stopped to think that maybe, just maybe, your financial destiny was programmed long before you learned how money even worked? The car you drive, the home you live in, the opportunities that seem to find you or avoid you are not random. They're patterns. Patterns written by something far more powerful than effort or luck. They're written by your subconscious mind. Scientists estimate that up to 95% of our thoughts, choices, and emotions are controlled by the subconscious. It's the silent engine running beneath the surface, repeating the same beliefs day after day, quietly building the limits of your world. It doesn't argue. It doesn't reason. It simply obeys what it was taught. And for most people, that code was written by parents who struggled, teachers who warned, and a society that equated money with fear, guilt, or survival. You might tell yourself, I want to be rich, but if deep down your subconscious still believes wealth is unsafe, that rich people are selfish, or that success will make others jealous, you will unconsciously push it away. You'll miss chances that could change your life, sabotage new beginnings, and settle for less. Not because you're lazy, but because your programming says comfort equals safety. Your subconscious wants to protect you from the unknown, even when the unknown is prosperity. Now imagine what happens when you rewrite that code, when the mind that once feared abundance begins to see it as natural, effortless, and aligned with who you are. That's when reality bends. That's when you stop chasing money and money starts finding you. Because the universe always matches the vibration of your belief, not your wish. Think of the mind as software. The conscious mind is the user tapping the keyboard, but the subconscious is the operating system. If that system runs outdated scripts like money is hard, life is unfair, or I'm not lucky, then no matter what commands you type, the output remains the same. You cannot install wealth on a scarcity operating system. You must update it. Look at Jim Carrey's story. Before fame, before fortune, he was just a struggling comedian in Los Angeles, living out of a beat-up car, wondering how to pay the next bill. One night, he drove to Mulholland Drive, parked under the city lights, and visualized his success in perfect detail. He didn't just wish for it, he felt it. He saw the checks, the movie contracts, the laughter of millions. And then, with faith that bordered on madness, he wrote himself a check for $10 million, dated it 5 years ahead, and carried it everywhere. 5 years later, almost to the day, he received a $10 million payment for Dumb and Dumber. Coincidence? Maybe. But what if that act reprogrammed his subconscious to accept a new reality? One where $10 million was already his. That's how the subconscious works. It seeks alignment between belief and experience. Once it accepts a truth internally, it manipulates perception, emotion, and action until the outer world mirrors it. The brain hates inconsistency. It will do everything in its power to make life match your inner story. So if your inner story says, I'm always broke, your mind will attract circumstances to prove it right. But if your inner story says, I am wealth itself, it will begin rewriting every neural pathway, every habit, every decision until that statement becomes visible. Neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity. Your brain can literally reshape itself based on repeated thought and emotion. Every visualization, every affirmation, every feeling of gratitude carves a new pathway, a new signal, a new command. Over time, that becomes the default. What once felt impossible becomes inevitable. That's why practices like affirmations and visualization aren't some mystical hype. They are neurological tools for reprogramming. When you combine emotion with repetition, the subconscious listens. The words, "I am wealthy," might sound like fantasy at first, but repeat them with conviction. Feel them with your entire body, and your subconscious begins to accept them as the new truth. Think of how billion-dollar companies manipulate this same principle externally. Apple doesn't sell gadgets, it sells identity. Tesla doesn't sell cars, it sells the feeling of genius and rebellion. They program the collective subconscious to associate their brand with status, innovation, and greatness. You can do the same thing inside yourself. You can become your own brand of abundance, one that your subconscious believes in so strongly that it has no choice but to manifest it. Every time you visualize wealth, every time you act as if abundance is already yours, you send a message to the brain. This is who I am now. And because your subconscious craves consistency, it will orchestrate your behavior to support that identity. You'll notice opportunities where others see none. You'll speak with confidence. You'll make decisions that align with growth rather than fear. The outer world rearranges itself around the inner certainty. That's why people who truly master their minds often seem lucky. They're not lucky, they're aligned. They've trained their subconscious to expect success, and that expectation becomes magnetism. The same laws of physics that govern gravity apply to consciousness. What you hold within inevitably pulls similar energy toward you. So if you feel stuck in the same financial loop, stop fighting the symptom. The answer isn't more work, it's more awareness. Your job isn't to chase the result, it's to upgrade the system producing it. Shift your beliefs, and your circumstances must follow. The moment you realize this, life becomes malleable. You stop being a victim of old stories and become the author of new ones. The power to change your finances, your destiny, your entire reality isn't in the economy, politics, or luck. It's in the invisible code running behind your thoughts. And once you take control of that code, the limits disappear. Because here's the truth. Wealth isn't something you get. It's something you remember. It's already wired within you, waiting to be activated. The subconscious mind doesn't need to learn abundance. It needs to unlearn lack. And every time you think a thought of gratitude, success, or possibility, you rewrite a line of that ancient script. So ask yourself, what story is your mind repeating right now? Is it the story of scarcity or the story of prosperity? Because whichever story you feed becomes your reality. Your subconscious doesn't care which, it only obeys. In the next secret, we'll go even deeper into how to install new beliefs that automatically attract wealth, the exact process used by high performers and self-made millionaires who've turned mental programming into their greatest financial weapon. But for now, remember this. Your external world is nothing but a mirror of your internal software. Change the code, and you change everything. Topic 2. The power of identity. Becoming the person who attracts wealth. Here's a truth most people never realize. You will never rise above the image you hold of yourself. You can learn every strategy, read every book, attend every seminar, but if your identity remains stuck in limitation, your results will always return to that inner thermostat. Because success doesn't start with doing more, it starts with becoming more. Your identity is the energetic signature of your subconscious mind. It's who you believe you are, not who you wish to be. You can say, "I want to be wealthy" 1,000 times, but if deep down you feel poor, if you still identify as someone who struggles, that frequency will override every conscious intention. The mind is loyal to identity. It always fights to remain consistent with who it believes you are, even when that identity is sabotaging your success. That's why people who win the lottery often lose everything within a few years. They didn't upgrade their identity to match their new level of wealth. Their bank balance changed, but their internal story didn't. They still saw themselves as someone who barely makes it. So the subconscious worked night and day to restore that familiar level of lack. The mind always returns to equilibrium, the comfort zone of self-concept. But the opposite is also true. When you transform your identity, your environment begins to rearrange itself in miraculous ways. You stop chasing wealth and start magnetizing it. Because wealth is not something you pursue, it's something you align with. Let me give you a simple example. Before Amazon existed, Jeff Bezos was just a man with an idea and a laptop in a small office. But long before the company exploded, he already saw himself as the founder of something world-changing. He wasn't acting like a small business owner, he was embodying the identity of a visionary CEO. That identity shaped every decision, every risk, every late-night strategy session. The identity came first, the empire followed. Your subconscious doesn't understand future tense, it only understands now. So if you keep saying, "One day I'll be rich," your mind hears, "I'm not rich yet." It will continue to create conditions that match that state of waiting. But when you begin to say, and more importantly, to feel, "I am the kind of person who creates wealth easily," your subconscious begins aligning every cell, every habit, and every instinct with that identity. You start thinking like a wealthy person, moving like one, speaking like one, and eventually receiving like one. That's why successful people often talk about acting as if. It's not pretending, it's training, it's emotional rehearsal. The brain doesn't distinguish between imagination and reality. It simply responds to the emotion of belief. So when you visualize yourself living abundantly, when you feel gratitude before the money arrives, you are literally rewiring the identity circuits of your brain. Think about athletes. Michael Jordan didn't just practice shots. He visualized victory until his body remembered success. In the same way, financial success is not luck. It's muscle memory of the mind. You condition yourself to operate at the frequency of abundance until it becomes your baseline. So here's the shift. Stop chasing results and start asking, who am I becoming? Because if you become the kind of person who naturally attracts wealth, disciplined, visionary, confident, generous, the money will follow as a byproduct. Identity first, manifestation second. The subconscious mind clings to familiar patterns. To create new results, you must make wealth feel familiar. That's why gratitude and visualization are so powerful. They make abundance emotionally safe. When you imagine yourself signing a large contract or receiving unexpected income, and you feel calm, grateful, and deserving, your subconscious begins accepting that scenario as normal. Once it feels normal, it becomes inevitable. Remember this, you can't attract what you subconsciously reject. If wealth feels foreign, the mind will find a way to push it away. But if wealth feels natural, you won't even need to chase it. It will orbit around your sense of self like planets around the sun. Elon Musk once said that he never doubted his companies would change the world. He only wondered how long it would take. That statement comes from identity, not ego. He had already become the innovator in his own mind. The physical results simply had to catch up. To change identity, start observing the language you use about yourself. Do you say, "I can't afford it," or "How can I afford it?" The first closes the door, the second opens a neural pathway to solutions. One phrase programs limitation, the other programs creativity. Wealthy thinkers focus on possibilities, not problems. Their identity is rooted in expansion, not fear. Every time you make a small decision aligned with your higher identity, saving when you used to spend unconsciously, investing when you used to doubt, acting instead of hesitating, you reinforce that new self-image. Transformation doesn't come from a single leap. It comes from thousands of micro-choices that confirm your new story. This is where emotional integrity matters. You can't lie to your subconscious. You must feel the truth you want it to believe. If saying, "I am wealthy," feels fake, bridge it with truth. I am learning to think like wealthy people think. I'm becoming someone who attracts abundance. That statement feels believable, and the subconscious accepts it. From there, you build momentum until wealth becomes your emotional default. Look around at anyone who consistently prospers. They don't chase wealth, they embody it. Their decisions reflect confidence. Their energy signals certainty. Their presence communicates value. That's the magnetic field of identity. When you step into your wealth identity, you stop negotiating with your old self. You stop apologizing for wanting more. You stop feeling guilty for success. You begin to understand that abundance isn't arrogance, it's alignment. And the more aligned you are, the more good you can do for others. The real secret is this: the subconscious follows emotional repetition, not logic. So speak to it daily. Feed it images, words, and feelings of the person you're becoming. See yourself already there. The more you live in that inner movie, the faster your external world adjusts to match it. Eventually, the effort disappears. The new identity takes over, and wealth becomes a reflection of who you are, not what you do. You no longer seek prosperity, you express it. It radiates from you, and people, opportunities, and resources respond accordingly. So, before chasing the next strategy or method, pause, look inward, and ask, who am I when I am wealthy? How do I think, speak, move, and decide? Then start living from that frequency now, because when your identity shifts, your entire universe does too. In the next secret, you'll learn how to reprogram your daily habits and emotional patterns to support this new identity, turning thoughts of abundance into automatic behavior and making wealth a natural extension of your lifestyle. Topic 3. The frequency of wealth, how energy shapes reality. Everything in this universe vibrates, from the stars burning millions of light years away to the thought you're having right now. Everything is energy in motion, and that includes your relationship with wealth. Money isn't just paper or numbers on a screen. It's energy, responding, mirroring, and amplifying the vibration you send out into the world. When you begin to understand that your thoughts carry a measurable frequency, your entire perception of reality changes. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and start realizing that you are a transmitter, constantly broadcasting signals that attract experiences matching your dominant emotional tone. The law is simple. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. Think of a radio. You can't tune into 101.5 FM while broadcasting on 89.3. The frequencies have to match. The same is true with abundance. If you're tuned into the frequency of fear, scarcity, or doubt, you'll attract experiences that confirm those vibrations. But when you raise your inner frequency, through gratitude, confidence, and purpose, wealth begins to resonate with you effortlessly. This is not poetic fluff. It's physics. Quantum experiments have proven that observation changes the behavior of particles, that consciousness literally influences matter. Dr. Joe Dispenza, one of the leading experts in neuroplasticity and quantum biology, calls this the science of transformation. He teaches that when you combine clear intention with elevated emotion, your energy field becomes magnetic. The universe doesn't respond to words, it responds to frequency. Imagine two people starting the same business. One is terrified of failure, constantly focusing on bills, competition, and fear. The other feels excited, abundant, and grateful for every small win. They both work hard, but their energy is completely different. The first one repels opportunities without realizing it. The second attracts clients, ideas, and collaborations like magic. Why? Because one vibrates scarcity and the other vibrates prosperity. The difference isn't luck, it's frequency. You can test this in your own life. Have you noticed that when you're in a good mood, things flow? Traffic clears, people smile at you, small miracles happen? That's coherence, your inner world harmonizing with the field around you. The more aligned your emotions are with abundance, the more the world mirrors that back to you. Companies understand this principle intuitively. Look at brands like Apple, LVMH, or Tesla. Their marketing isn't about logic, it's about energy. They project elegance, innovation, and prestige. People don't buy their products, they buy the feeling attached to them. The same energy principle that drives billion-dollar brands can transform your personal vibration. When you embody the feeling of wealth, before seeing it, you create an energetic match for it to appear. But here's the secret most people miss. You can't fake frequency. You can't say, "I'm abundant," while secretly feeling desperate inside. The subconscious emits your true vibration, not your words. That's why gratitude is the most powerful frequency-raising emotion in existence. Gratitude tells the universe, "I already have enough," which instantly shifts your signal from lack to overflow. From that place, you magnetize even more. Wealthy individuals live in a constant state of gratitude, not because they have everything, but because gratitude keeps them connected to the flow that brought it all. Oprah Winfrey often says, "The more thankful I became, the more my life opened up." That's not spiritual poetry, it's energetic alignment. Gratitude moves your mind out of fear and into trust, out of resistance and into flow. When you vibrate at the frequency of wealth, your entire nervous system recalibrates. Stress decreases, intuition sharpens, creativity expands. You stop reacting to life and start co-creating it. You begin to sense opportunities before they appear, to feel what choices align with your higher path. That's not coincidence, that's resonance. It's the same principle Nikola Tesla hinted at when he said, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." When you start thinking this way, you no longer chase wealth, you tune into it. You become a signal so strong that money, ideas, and people have no choice but to respond. But here's where transformation truly begins. Raising your frequency isn't about positive thinking alone, it's about emotional mastery. It's about training your nervous system to feel abundant, even when the external world hasn't caught up yet. That's the hardest part, and the most powerful one. When you can stay calm in uncertainty, grateful in the waiting, and confident during challenge, your vibration becomes unshakable. The universe reads that stability as strength, and strength attracts expansion. That's why most people experience breakthroughs only after they've stopped forcing outcomes and started trusting the process. The frequency of surrender is pure creation energy. Everything in your life right now, the people, the opportunities, the numbers in your bank account, is a reflection of your current energetic state. You don't fix it by pushing harder, you fix it by tuning differently. You raise the frequency, and the reflection changes automatically. So, start with your emotions. Ask yourself, what energy am I radiating today? Anxiety or gratitude? Doubt or trust? Fear or excitement? Whatever you choose becomes the code your subconscious transmits. When you wake up tomorrow, before you check your phone or think about problems, pause for a few seconds and tune yourself like an instrument. Feel appreciation for something simple: your breath, your bed, your body, the chance to start again. That single vibration of gratitude sets the tone for your entire day. And as that energy compounds, life starts responding in extraordinary ways. Wealth is not about chasing zeros, it's about mastering frequency. When your energy matches abundance, wealth becomes inevitable. You stop asking how and start living in alignment. And in that alignment, every door you once struggled to open swings wide, because you finally tuned yourself to the same station as prosperity itself. In the next secret, we'll explore how your daily environment and habits can amplify or destroy that frequency, and how to design a life that keeps you permanently aligned with abundance. Topic 4. The environment of wealth: how your surroundings shape your mindset and success. If you want to know where your future is heading, look around you. Your environment is not neutral. It's programming you every single day. The people you talk to, the spaces you occupy, the content you consume, all of it is feeding your subconscious mind either expansion or limitation. You can be trying to reprogram your inner world, but if your outer world is broadcasting scarcity, fear, and mediocrity, that frequency will eventually pull you back. Human beings are vibrationally contagious. Neuroscientists call it emotional resonance. When you spend time with people who complain, doubt, and gossip about others' success, their energy infiltrates your nervous system. You begin to mirror their beliefs without realizing it. You start thinking smaller, doubting yourself, and justifying average results because your environment rewards comfort, not growth. On the other hand, when you surround yourself with dreamers, doers, and visionaries, your brain starts rewiring in the opposite direction. Success becomes normalized. Ambition becomes safe. The conversations shift from why it won't work to how can we make it work? And that simple, energetic difference becomes the seed of transformation. Every self-made millionaire intuitively understands this principle. Look at Elon Musk. He built companies like SpaceX and Tesla by surrounding himself with engineers and thinkers who believed the impossible was possible. Steve Jobs created Apple not by hiring average employees, but by gathering a team that saw design as art and innovation as destiny. They cultivated environments where limitation was unacceptable. So ask yourself honestly, is your environment reinforcing your old identity or your new one? Because if you're serious about reprogramming your mind for wealth, you must also reprogram your surroundings. Your environment is the stage on which your subconscious performs. This doesn't mean abandoning everyone in your life. It means curating your energy with precision. Spend more time with people who inspire action, not excuses. Watch content that expands your thinking instead of numbing it. Read books that challenge your beliefs instead of confirming your limitations. Even small shifts, changing the music you listen to, decluttering your workspace, adding symbols of prosperity to your environment, begin signaling your subconscious that a new reality is taking form. There's a reason wealthy people invest in design, art, and aesthetics. Their homes, offices, and even digital spaces are arranged to evoke clarity, creativity, and abundance. It's not vanity, it's vibrational hygiene. A chaotic environment breeds a chaotic mind. An intentional environment breeds focus, gratitude, and growth. Your subconscious mind absorbs everything it sees and hears, even when you're not paying attention. That's why background noise matters. That's why your newsfeed matters. Every piece of information you allow in becomes data for your inner programming. If you constantly consume scarcity, drama, and negativity, don't be surprised when your vibration matches it. Here's a powerful truth. Your external environment can act as an anchor for your future identity. If you visualize yourself as successful, yet live in a space that reflects disorder, your subconscious experiences cognitive dissonance. It can't reconcile the two realities. But when you begin aligning your space with your vision, that conflict disappears, and the subconscious relaxes into belief. It doesn't take money to create a wealthy environment. It takes intention. Clean your space. Light a candle that smells like success. Place a quote on your desk that reminds you of your purpose. Visualize abundance while you work. Every sensory detail you choose becomes a subtle affirmation. Jim Rohn once said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." But it's not just people. It's spaces, energies, and atmospheres. If you want to elevate your life, elevate your average. This is why masterminds, seminars, and mentorships have such profound impact. They create temporary environments of high vibration that override years of limitation. You step into a room where everyone speaks the language of possibility, and your subconscious adjusts instantly. It realizes abundance is not fantasy, it's normal. The more time you spend in environments like that, the faster your internal code upgrades. Even nature itself is a teacher of wealth frequency. Observe a forest. Nothing rushes, yet everything thrives. Abundance is effortless because it operates in harmony. When you walk in nature, your nervous system syncs with that pattern of expansion. The noise of scarcity fades, and you remember that growth is your natural state. Now imagine designing your life like that. Every element tuned to the vibration of success. Your workspace reflects focus. Your home radiates gratitude. Your social circle fuels inspiration. Your daily inputs speak abundance. That's not lifestyle design. That's mind design. It's the physical manifestation of prosperity consciousness. You can't think clearly in chaos. You can't feel abundant in a space that drains you. You can't vibrate wealth while listening to voices that glorify lack. The subconscious takes it all personally, so protect it as you would a sacred temple. The transformation begins when you realize you're not just a product of your environment. You are its architect. You can design it, curate it, and align it with the identity you are becoming. Every object, every sound, every conversation becomes a building block of your future. When you intentionally craft your environment to mirror wealth, the mind adapts. It starts expecting more, demanding more, creating more. You begin to walk, talk, and decide differently because your surroundings constantly remind you of who you are. And soon, the line between your vision and your reality begins to blur. You no longer feel like you're manifesting wealth. You're simply living in harmony with it. You've built an ecosystem of abundance that sustains itself. In the next secret, we'll explore how the emotional patterns you live in every day, your dominant feelings, reactions, and states of mind, become the emotional architecture of your prosperity. You'll learn how to shift your emotional signature from survival to creation, and how to make abundance your permanent emotional home. Topic 5. The emotional blueprint of abundance. Turning feelings into financial magnetism. Every thought you think carries energy, but every emotion you feel carries power. Thoughts are electrical, emotions are magnetic. Together, they create the field that attracts your reality. You can't just think rich, you have to feel rich. Because emotion is the language your subconscious understands best. It doesn't respond to logic or words, it responds to vibration. That's why people can repeat affirmations for years and see no change. They're saying, "I am abundant," but inside, they still feel fear, frustration, or unworthiness. The subconscious hears that emotion and says, "Okay, this is our truth," and keeps producing results that match it. You can't lie to your vibration. The universe doesn't listen to your words, it listens to your frequency, and your frequency is set by emotion. When you truly feel gratitude, joy, or confidence, you open a channel to abundance that logic can't reach. Gratitude tells your subconscious, "I already have enough," which instantly shifts you from lack to overflow. Joy tells the universe, "I'm aligned," and alignment accelerates manifestation. Confidence tells the field, "I trust myself," and that trust becomes self-fulfilling. The secret isn't to chase positive emotions, it's to generate them intentionally, especially when your reality gives you reasons not to. Because when you can choose gratitude in chaos, you become unstoppable. That's emotional mastery, the ability to direct your vibration instead of reacting to the world. Think about this. Every wealthy person you admire has mastered emotional discipline. They don't avoid challenges, they control their internal state while facing them. Warren Buffett once said, "The most important quality for an investor is temperament, not intellect." That's because emotions, not events, determine outcomes. The ability to stay calm when others panic, to see opportunity when others see disaster, is the emotional blueprint of wealth. Emotions literally shape your biology. When you feel fear or stress, your body releases cortisol, narrowing your focus and shutting down creativity. Survival mode. But when you feel gratitude, joy, or love, your brain releases dopamine and oxytocin, expanding perception and sharpening intuition. Creation mode. The first frequency keeps you trapped in scarcity. The second opens the door to prosperity. Neuroscience has proven that the heart generates the strongest electromagnetic field in the human body, far more powerful than the brain's. When your heart and mind are in coherence, meaning your thoughts and emotions are aligned, your entire energy field becomes harmonious and magnetic. You begin to draw circumstances that match that harmony. That's not metaphor, it's measurable energy. The wealthiest and happiest people on earth understand this intuitively. They live in emotional alignment with their goals. Oprah doesn't wait for success to feel grateful. She feels grateful, and that gratitude multiplies her success. Elon Musk doesn't act from fear of failure. He acts from excitement about the future. Jeff Bezos doesn't make decisions from anxiety. He makes them from curiosity. They've built emotional habits that sustain creation energy, no matter what's happening around them. Now, imagine what happens when you start doing the same, when you wake up and choose your vibration instead of waiting for life to dictate it. You'll notice coincidences, synchronicities, and effortless flows. Because when your emotional frequency matches abundance, life mirrors it back with precision. This is why emotional awareness is the gateway to wealth consciousness. Start paying attention to what you feel about money. Does it excite you or scare you? Does it feel light or heavy? Your emotional reaction reveals your programming. If money feels stressful, that stress is your signal that your subconscious is still linking wealth with danger or lack of control. You can't attract what feels unsafe. The antidote is emotional reconditioning. Each time you feel anxiety about money, pause. Breathe deeply. Instead of feeding fear, shift into gratitude, even for small things. I'm grateful I have a roof. I'm grateful I have ideas. I'm grateful I'm learning this lesson. That simple pivot changes your chemistry and begins rewiring the emotional pattern attached to abundance. Over time, your nervous system learns that money and success are safe. And once they feel safe, they can finally stay. That's why sudden wealth often vanishes for people who haven't done this emotional work. Their subconscious rejects it because the vibration feels unfamiliar. But when abundance feels emotionally comfortable, it becomes sustainable. One of the most powerful exercises you can do is emotional rehearsal. Close your eyes and imagine your dream life, not from the outside, but from the inside. Feel the sensations of security, generosity, and pride as if they're happening right now. Smell the air, see the colors, hear the sounds. When you engage all your senses, your subconscious believes it's real. The more you do it, the faster your external world adjusts to match that emotional blueprint. Emotion is the bridge between thought and manifestation. You can't manifest what you don't emotionally inhabit. Every millionaire, every visionary, every leader who transformed their life started by mastering their emotions. They learned to generate feelings of abundance before the evidence appeared, and that emotional frequency became their magnet for wealth. So the next time you feel frustration, doubt, or fear, remember, that's your signal to realign. Don't fight the emotion. Observe it, thank it, and choose again. You are not your emotions. You are the energy directing them. Abundance is not a destination, it's a vibration. The more time you spend in gratitude, trust, and joy, the more that vibration becomes your baseline. And once it's your baseline, wealth doesn't feel like a miracle. It feels like your natural state. In the next secret, we'll explore how to turn your daily habits into the physical expression of this emotional blueprint, creating consistency between your energy and your actions, the bridge that transforms inner abundance into outer results. Topic 6. The rituals of prosperity. How daily habits anchor your wealth frequency. You can reprogram your beliefs, visualize abundance, and feel gratitude. But if your habits don't match that vibration, your subconscious will eventually pull you back to old patterns. Because the truth is, wealth is not just an idea, it's a rhythm, a daily pattern of energy, thought, and action that keeps you aligned with prosperity long after motivation fades. You don't become wealthy from one massive leap. You become wealthy by repeating small, intentional acts that affirm your new identity. Your habits are your vote for the future you believe in. They are how your subconscious measures your sincerity. You can say, "I am abundant," but your mind watches what you do every day to decide if that statement is true. Think about how successful people structure their lives. Their mornings, their focus, their time. Everything follows rituals that reinforce their wealth mindset. It's not about obsession, it's about consistency. A clear mind produces clear results. A disciplined environment produces disciplined wealth. Consider Warren Buffett. His mornings are predictable, simple, and deliberate. He reads, thinks, and protects his attention as if it were gold. Elon Musk divides his day into 5-minute blocks to maximize creative flow. Oprah Winfrey begins her mornings with stillness and gratitude before any decision. Different people, same principle. Their habits guard their frequency. Because habits are not just actions, they are vibrations repeated over time. Every choice, every behavior sends a message to your subconscious. This is who I am. When your daily actions align with your desired identity, you stop trying to manifest wealth and start embodying it. One of the most powerful rituals is the morning state reset. The moment you wake up, your brain shifts from the dream state, theta waves, to consciousness, alpha and beta waves. In those few minutes, your subconscious is wide open, ready to absorb new instructions. But most people start their day by checking their phones, reading bad news, or worrying about work. That instantly programs anxiety, scarcity, and reaction. Instead, the wealthy mind begins the day with intention. Before touching your phone, take 2 minutes to breathe deeply, smile, and feel gratitude. Visualize your goals as already done. Say aloud, "Today, I choose abundance." Those small acts calibrate your energy. You've just programmed your mind to expect opportunity instead of chaos. Another ritual is the evening review. Before sleeping, your subconscious replays the day's experiences, reinforcing emotional patterns. If you fall asleep stressed, you code stress. But if you end the day with reflection and gratitude, celebrating even small wins, you program success overnight. The subconscious integrates that feeling while you dream, making confidence your new default. This is the science behind momentum loops. The brain loves repetition. The more often you link a habit with a positive emotion, the stronger that neural circuit becomes. Eventually, it runs automatically, like brushing your teeth or driving a car. That's when abundance stops being something you think about and becomes something you are. But there's another layer: your energetic rituals. Every successful person has activities that keep their vibration high. Exercise, meditation, journaling, visualization, or even silence. These aren't luxuries, they're maintenance. They keep your inner frequency clean so that external noise can't drag you down. You can't operate at a high vibration in a low-frequency routine. Jim Carrey once said he visualized checks arriving in the mail until they actually did. But what made that visualization powerful wasn't the fantasy, it was the repetition. Every day, he reinforced that image with emotion until his mind couldn't tell the difference between imagination and reality. That's what daily rituals do. They blur the line between who you are and who you're becoming. Your subconscious doesn't respond to intensity, it responds to consistency. You don't need to meditate for hours or journal for pages. You need to repeat small, powerful actions daily until they become your new identity. Because what you do repeatedly, you become permanently. Ask yourself, what habits reinforce my scarcity, and which ones reinforce my abundance? Do I spend hours scrolling through negativity or minutes visualizing success? Do I react to life or design it each morning? The answers reveal where your vibration is leaking. Wealth rituals aren't rigid. They're rituals of alignment. Maybe it's lighting a candle before you work to remind yourself that you create value. Maybe it's writing one sentence of gratitude before sleep. Maybe it's choosing silence over gossip, focus over distraction, vision over fear. The form doesn't matter. The energy does. Because every time you act like your future self, your subconscious says, this is who we are now, and begins recalibrating reality to match. You'll notice synchronicities, a call at the perfect moment, a new client, a lucky break. They're not random. They're reflections of your consistent signal. It's not the grand gestures that change your life. It's the subtle rituals you repeat when no one's watching. The way you start your day, the way you speak about yourself, the energy you bring into every conversation, the care you give your body, the gratitude you feel before sleep. Each is a line of code in your wealth program. When your habits vibrate with abundance, you no longer need to force results. You attract them. You don't chase success. You maintain resonance with it. And the longer you hold that frequency, the more effortless it becomes. So, start small, but start sacred. Choose one ritual today that aligns with your wealth identity and repeat it for 21 days. It could be a 2-minute gratitude session, a 5-minute visualization, or a daily affirmation said with emotion. Do it until it becomes who you are. Because prosperity isn't built overnight. It's built every morning, every evening, every moment you decide to act from abundance instead of fear. In the next secret, we'll explore how your relationship with time determines the speed of your manifestations, and how millionaires manipulate their perception of time to accelerate success and stay in the flow of abundance. Topic 7. The quantum power of time. How millionaires bend reality through patience and alignment. Most people are in a constant race against time. They wake up anxious, rush through the day, and fall asleep feeling like they're running out of hours, opportunities, and life itself. That emotional relationship with time, scarcity, pressure, fear, is the same energy that blocks abundance. Because time is not your enemy. Time is your amplifier, and how you treat it determines how reality responds to you. You see, time is not linear the way we've been taught. It's psychological. It expands and contracts based on your focus and vibration. When you're stressed, everything feels rushed. When you're aligned, time slows down. Have you ever been so immersed in something you love that hours passed like minutes? That's flow. That's the state of creation. In that vibration, you're no longer chasing, you're co-creating. Millionaires, innovators, and visionaries understand this intuitively. They don't try to manage time. They manipulate energy. They know that when you operate from abundance, time bends to match your rhythm. You stop reacting to the clock and start aligning with your calling. Think about Elon Musk juggling multiple companies, or Richard Branson running a global empire while living joyfully and present. How do they do it? They've transcended time scarcity. They live in expansion, not urgency. Their focus creates flow, and flow creates results that ordinary effort could never produce. The poor mindset says, I don't have enough time. The wealthy mindset says, I create time through clarity. Because clarity multiplies energy, and energy shapes time. When your mind is scattered, you lose hours to distraction. When your purpose is precise, you compress outcomes. What might take someone months takes you days, not because you're working harder, but because your vibration is aligned. Neuroscientists have studied this time dilation phenomenon. When you enter a state of high focus, your brain releases dopamine, norepinephrine, and anandamide, chemicals that expand perception and increase efficiency. In flow, the prefrontal cortex, the that part of your brain that calculates time quiets down. That's why athletes describe feeling timeless during peak performance. The same principle applies to abundance. The more aligned your energy, the more time seems to serve you. But here's the paradox. To control time, you must stop fighting it. You must make peace with the present moment. Most people delay their happiness until someday. They say, "I'll feel successful when I reach that number, buy that house, get that promotion." But someday is a moving target that keeps abundance forever out of reach. The only time you can experience prosperity is now. Jim Carrey once said, "As far as I can tell, it's just about letting the universe know what you want and working toward it while letting go of how it comes to pass." That's the essence of quantum timing. Focus plus surrender. You hold your vision clearly, take inspired action, and trust that the universe is orchestrating the details. You stop forcing, start flowing, and time begins to work for you. Impatience is resistance. When you demand instant results, you're telling the universe, "I don't believe it's working." That disbelief scrambles your frequency. But patience, real patience, is not waiting idly. It's trusting energetically. It's maintaining the vibration of certainty, even when the evidence hasn't shown up yet. Think of a farmer planting seeds. He doesn't dig them up every morning to check if they're growing. He waters them, nurtures them, and trusts the process. The delay between planting and harvest is not punishment, it's incubation. The same is true for your manifestations. The time lag between intention and manifestation is not failure, it's alignment catching up. The wealthiest people use this principle to their advantage. They understand that long-term thinking multiplies returns, not just in money but in energy. Warren Buffett calls it the power of compounding, the idea that patience turns small actions into massive results. But compounding isn't just financial, it's vibrational. Every time you choose calm over panic, faith over fear, gratitude over doubt, you compound energy. Over time, those vibrations create exponential growth in your reality. That's why chasing quick wins keeps people broke. They burn out their energy, destroy their flow, and sabotage their timing. The universe doesn't reward speed, it rewards alignment. The more aligned you are with abundance, the faster results appear. Not because time changed, but because you did. Quantum physicists say that past, present, and future exist simultaneously. That means your wealthy self already exists in another timeline, waiting for you to align with it. Every time you think, feel, and act from that future self, you collapse time. You bring that version of you into the present moment. That's why visualization works. It's not fantasy, it's time travel through frequency. If you want to accelerate results, stop asking, "When will it happen?" and start asking, "How can I become the version of myself who already has it?" Because time is simply the space reality uses to test your belief. The more unwavering your belief, the less time it needs to catch up. So breathe, stop racing, stop comparing your timeline to anyone else's. You are not late, you are not behind, you are aligning. The universe doesn't operate on deadlines, it operates on readiness. When your vibration matches your desire, time bends, doors open, opportunities appear out of nowhere, the waiting ends. Remember this truth: scarcity lives in the past and future. Abundance lives in the now. Every time you choose presence over pressure, you reconnect with the timeless flow of creation. From that space, miracles unfold naturally. So let go of urgency and step into mastery. Time is not a wall you must climb. It's a wave you can ride. And the moment you align with your higher rhythm, the clock stops being your jailer and becomes your partner in creation. In the next secret, you'll learn how to turn this timeless awareness into tangible leadership energy. The mindset of influence and contribution that transforms personal prosperity into purpose-driven impact. Because true wealth isn't just about having more, it's about becoming more and elevating everyone around you in the process. Topic 8. The Leadership of Wealth: How True Prosperity Inspires and Elevates Others. There comes a moment in every seeker's journey when abundance stops being about accumulation and starts becoming about amplification. You realize that real wealth isn't measured by what you have, but by what your presence creates in others. That's the moment you step from success into leadership, when prosperity evolves from personal achievement into universal contribution. Leadership is not about titles or control. It's about energy. It's about the vibration you emit when you enter a room. Have you ever noticed how certain people instantly elevate everyone around them? They speak, and others listen. They walk in, and the atmosphere shifts. That's not charisma, that's coherence. Their inner frequency of certainty, generosity, and vision radiates so strongly that it reorganizes the energy field of those in their presence. True prosperity does that. It's contagious. When you live in abundance, not just financially, but emotionally and spiritually, you become a transmitter of possibility. Your calm becomes other people's confidence. Your success becomes their permission. That's leadership through resonance, and it's far more powerful than any strategy or speech. Think of Oprah Winfrey. She didn't just become wealthy, she became a symbol of empowerment for millions. Her success said, "It's possible for you too." That's the vibration of a prosperous leader, one who turns their own light into a mirror that reflects the potential in others. You don't have to be famous to lead this way. Every act of kindness, every decision made from abundance rather than fear, is leadership. When you treat employees, family members, or even strangers with respect and generosity, you're demonstrating the energetic blueprint of prosperity. You're proving that wealth is not selfish, it's expansive. The world is full of people chasing influence but starving for integrity. True wealth has nothing to prove. It doesn't shout, it radiates. It doesn't compete, it contributes. The wealthy leader knows that prosperity shared is prosperity multiplied. That's why some of the richest minds, from Andrew Carnegie to modern billionaires like Mackenzie Scott, devote enormous portions of their fortunes to philanthropy. They understand that giving doesn't decrease wealth, it circulates it. Money is energy. It grows through movement, not stagnation. But leadership starts with self-mastery. Before you can elevate others, you must master your own emotional and energetic state. Because you teach what you know, but you transmit what you are. If your mind is in chaos, your influence breeds confusion. If your energy is grounded, your presence breeds trust. People feel your vibration long before they understand your words. Neuroscience calls this emotional contagion. When a leader maintains coherence, calm, optimism, confidence, their team's brainwaves synchronize with that energy. Stress levels drop, creativity rises, and performance increases. That's not magic, that's biology. The same electromagnetic field that attracts wealth can elevate others when shared intentionally. Every time you raise your own vibration, you unconsciously give others permission to rise too. That's the secret behind influential mentors and visionary entrepreneurs. They expand what others believe is possible simply by embodying it. They don't motivate through fear, they inspire through frequency. But let's be clear, leadership through wealth doesn't mean perfection. It means authenticity. It means having the courage to admit your growth process, to show that abundance is not a finish line but a journey of continuous self-evolution. The more real you are, the more relatable your energy becomes, and the more powerful your impact. Money without consciousness leads to corruption. Consciousness without prosperity leads to frustration. But when you merge the two, awareness with abundance, you become unstoppable. You become a catalyst for collective elevation. That's what the next era of leadership looks like. Leaders who heal while they build, who grow while they give, who understand that success without contribution is incomplete. Take a look at companies that thrive long-term. They all share one trait, a purpose greater than profit. Apple revolutionized technology by merging design with empowerment. Patagonia uses business to heal the planet. Tesla transforms sustainability into aspiration. These aren't just companies, they're frequencies. They lead through vibration, by aligning wealth with meaning. You can apply the same principle in your life. Every project you start, every conversation you have, every decision you make is a chance to infuse meaning into prosperity. Ask yourself daily, is this action fueled by fear or by service? By scarcity or by contribution? The more your choices reflect the energy of expansion, the more life rewards you with opportunities to expand further. Remember, prosperity is a leadership responsibility. The universe doesn't grant abundance so you can hide it. It entrusts it to you so you can circulate it. The more you share, the stronger your flow becomes. Abundance, when hoarded, stagnates. When expressed, multiplies. The highest level of wealth is impact, the ability to shift lives, inspire hope, and create legacies that outlive your name. That's why the most fulfilled people are not just successful, they're significant. They've turned money into movement, goals into guidance, and success into service. You are meant to be one of them. The fact that you're watching this means you're already awakening to that higher calling. Your journey toward prosperity is not just about changing your bank account. It's about changing your frequency so deeply that it ripples across generations. When you step into leadership through wealth, you become a living demonstration of possibility. You show the world that abundance and integrity can coexist, that prosperity and spirituality can dance together, that success can be a form of love in motion. And that's the kind of wealth that never fades, because money can buy comfort, but leadership creates legacy. In the next secret, we'll explore how to connect prosperity with purpose, how to turn your unique gifts and passions into a force that not only fulfills you, but transforms the world around you. Because wealth without purpose is empty, but purpose with wealth is unstoppable. Topic 9. The purpose of prosperity: aligning wealth with meaning and mission. There comes a moment on the path of abundance when you realize that having more is not the same as being more. You can fill your home, your accounts, and your schedule, and still feel empty. That emptiness isn't failure, it's a calling. It's life whispering, there's a higher reason for your wealth. Because prosperity without purpose is like a river with no direction, powerful but aimless. Purpose is the invisible engine of true wealth. It's what turns material success into spiritual fulfillment. When you know why you want to prosper, every action gains clarity, every risk gains courage, and every challenge gains meaning. Without it, money becomes a trap, a chase with no finish line. But with purpose, money becomes a tool, a sacred amplifier for the good you can do in the world. Look at every visionary who left a mark on history. They all reached a point where their focus shifted from getting to giving, from survival to significance. Elon Musk didn't create Tesla just to make money. He wanted to redefine energy for humanity. Oprah didn't build a media empire to be famous. She used it as a platform for consciousness. Steve Jobs wasn't obsessed with profit. He was obsessed with creating beauty that changes lives. That's the essence of purpose-driven prosperity. Wealth that serves something greater than itself. Purpose activates the heart, and the heart amplifies the vibration of abundance more powerfully than any thought alone. The moment you align your wealth with contribution, you enter the flow of infinite energy. Because now, you're not manifesting from ego, you're manifesting from essence. You're no longer asking, "What can I get?" but "What can I give that no one else can?" And that shift transforms everything. When your goals are fueled by purpose, discipline becomes devotion. Effort feels lighter. Work feels sacred. You stop forcing outcomes and start channeling inspiration. The universe loves clarity of intention. When it sees that your prosperity serves others, it opens doors that remain invisible to those who chase wealth only for themselves. Neuroscience explains why this happens. When you act in alignment with purpose, your brain releases oxytocin, the chemical of connection. Your body literally enters coherence. You feel more alive, creative, and resilient. Purpose rewires your nervous system for joy, which raises your frequency, which in turn attracts more opportunities to fulfill that purpose. It's a loop of expansion. The same pattern appears in organizations. Companies driven by mission outperform those driven only by profit. Studies show that purpose-oriented brands have higher loyalty, better innovation, and greater long-term success. Why? Because people resonate with meaning. Energy follows intention. When a company stands for something real, its vibration becomes magnetic. Now bring that insight to your own life. Your personal brand, your energy, your voice, your contribution also carries a frequency. When you infuse it with authenticity and intention, people feel it. They're drawn to you, not because of what you sell or say, but because your vibration communicates truth. Purpose gives money direction. It transforms wealth into impact. When you know your mission, every dollar becomes a messenger, carrying your values into the world. You stop chasing clients, projects, or numbers. You start attracting alignment. And alignment, unlike hustle, is sustainable. But here's the paradox. Your purpose isn't something you find. It's something you remember. It's already encoded in your soul. You've felt it in moments of passion, compassion, or flow, when you were so fully alive that time disappeared. That's purpose whispering. This is who you are. The more you follow that feeling, the clearer it becomes. Don't overthink it. Purpose doesn't always look like a grand mission or a perfect business plan. Sometimes it begins as a quiet pull, to teach, to heal, to create, to serve. Follow that energy, and it will lead you to opportunities that match your vibration. Because when you move with purpose, the universe rearranges itself around your intention. Jim Carrey once said, "I wish everyone could become rich and famous, so they'd realize it's not the answer." He's right. The real answer is alignment. Wealth without alignment is noise. Wealth with alignment is music. It harmonizes your talents, passions, and values into a melody that moves others. That's when prosperity becomes legacy. And legacy isn't built through money alone. It's built through meaning. The way you make people feel, the ideas you share, the kindness you express, the truth you stand for. That's what outlives you. When you begin to measure success by the lives you touch rather than the things you own, you've transcended the old paradigm of wealth. You've entered the realm of conscious prosperity. Purpose is also the greatest cure for fear. When you're aligned with something larger than yourself, uncertainty loses its power. You stop asking, "What if I fail?" and start asking, "What if I never try?" Because you realize your purpose doesn't depend on perfect circumstances. It creates them. It turns fear into fuel and failure into feedback. So ask yourself now, why do I desire wealth? What would I do if money were no longer an obstacle? How could my abundance serve humanity, my family, or the planet? The answers to those questions are your compass. They guide you beyond comfort, into contribution. When you live with purpose, prosperity becomes a natural consequence. Because the universe always supports what supports life. Every time you align your wealth with love, service, and authenticity, you become unstoppable. You enter a flow that no external force can disrupt. The purpose of prosperity is not to escape life, it's to expand it, to use your abundance to illuminate others, to turn every resource into a ripple of transformation. That's the legacy of conscious wealth. It elevates everyone it touches. In the next and final secret, we'll bring everything together, the mind, the energy, the habits, and the purpose, into one ultimate realization, that you were never meant to chase wealth, but to embody it. Because when you become abundance itself, your entire reality transforms forever. Topic 10. Becoming the source, the final shift to infinite abundance. At some point in your journey, the question changes. You stop asking, "How can I attract more?" and start asking, "How can I become more?" That's the moment your relationship with wealth transforms forever. Because true abundance isn't about chasing, accumulating, or achieving. It's about remembering who you really are, a creator, not a collector. The source, not the seeker. Everything we've explored so far, reprogramming your subconscious, embodying a new identity, mastering frequency, shaping your environment, commanding emotion, building rituals, transcending time, leading with purpose, all of it leads here, to this single realization. You were never separate from prosperity. You were born as it. From the very beginning, the energy of abundance has been flowing through you, but conditioning, fear, and limitation have dimmed that awareness. You were taught to believe that success is something you earn, not something you are. Yet every time you visualize, affirm, or act from your higher self, you're not creating something new. You're remembering something eternal. The ultimate secret is not about manifesting wealth. It's about dissolving the illusion of lack. Because there is no shortage in consciousness. There is no ceiling on potential. The only limits that exist are the ones you continue to identify with. When you let them go, abundance rushes in. Not because it finally arrived, but because you finally stopped resisting it. Imagine this. A wave doesn't chase the ocean. It's already part of it. The moment it remembers that truth, it stops fearing its disappearance and starts moving with grace. You are that wave. The universe is your ocean. And wealth, real, infinite wealth, is the current that flows through you when you align with that awareness. This is what the great masters, entrepreneurs, and visionaries all discovered in their own way. Oprah felt it through gratitude. Steve Jobs felt it through creation. Elon Musk feels it through innovation. Each of them reached a point where action was no longer forced. It was inspired, where effort turned into flow, where they stopped trying to make success happen and started allowing it to unfold. When you become the source, money stops being your master. It becomes your messenger. It starts moving through you, not to you. You begin to see it for what it really is: energy, expression, movement. You use it, direct it, and multiply it effortlessly because you're no longer operating from fear of loss. You understand that as long as you remain connected to your source, supply is infinite. And that's the real freedom. The moment you stop depending on circumstances to define your worth, you reclaim your power. You stop reacting to reality and start generating it. You realize that the same consciousness that built empires, healed bodies, and moved mountains is the same consciousness breathing through you right now. You are not separate from the intelligence that creates worlds. You are an extension of it. But to live in that truth, you must make one final shift: from asking to giving, from wanting to knowing, from scarcity to serenity. When you no longer chase wealth, you magnetize it. When you no longer need validation, you become undeniable. When you stop waiting for proof, the proof arrives, because your belief itself becomes creation. Your subconscious now understands that wealth is your default state. Your emotions resonate with gratitude instead of fear. Your habits express discipline instead of doubt. Your leadership uplifts others instead of competing. Your purpose fuels expansion instead of exhaustion. Everything begins to flow in perfect coherence. You've reached the place where action becomes art, where silence creates more results than struggle ever could, where manifestation stops being a technique and becomes your natural way of existing. You've stepped into alignment with the quantum truth. You are both the observer and the observed, the dreamer and the dream, the creator and the creation. And now, wealth responds to you automatically because it recognizes itself in you. From this moment on, you no longer have to ask, "How do I attract abundance?" Instead, ask, "How do I express it?" Because every time you speak truth, every time you share value, every time you act with love or confidence, you're letting the universe know, "I remember who I am." That's why the final secret is not a technique, but a realization that abundance isn't something you pursue externally. It's the natural consequence of living authentically. When your inner world becomes whole, your outer world becomes wealthy. So breathe deeply, right now. Feel that truth in your body. You are already abundant. You always were. You are a vessel of infinite intelligence, an extension of creation itself. And when you live from that awareness, every door opens effortlessly. The game of chasing ends. The era of allowing begins. You become the calm center of your universe, and everything you once desired starts orbiting around you like planets drawn to gravity. This is the power the great teachers have always pointed to, the moment when you no longer pray for miracles because your very existence becomes one. And as you carry this awareness into your daily life, let your success be silent proof of your alignment. Let your peace be your strategy. Let your gratitude be your magnet. Because the most powerful energy in the universe is a human being who remembers they are the source. So go live as the source. Think abundantly, act consciously, love generously, and serve expansively. Let your wealth ripple through others like light through water. Because that's what you came here to do. Not just to become rich, but to become radiant. And as you do, prosperity will no longer be something you achieve. It will simply be what you are. If this message awakened something inside you, if you felt a spark, a shift, a sense of remembering, then this journey has already begun for you. Keep that frequency alive. Subscribe to Success and Prosperity Code and continue walking the path of wealth consciousness, abundance, and higher purpose. Like this video, share it with someone who's ready to awaken their own prosperity, and let's spread this vibration of limitless success across the world. Because the more people remember they are the source, the more abundant our entire planet becomes.